In this episode, we'll be looking at how to install modules. When you're first starting out as a Python programmer, you don't think about how you might need to install an external package or module. But when that need appears, you'll want to know how to do that in a hurry. So Python packages can be found all over the internet. One of the most popular ones that I've found is the Python Package Index, also known as PyPy. You will also find a lot of Python packages on GitHub, Bitbucket, and various other locations. So we're going to look at how to install from source using Easy Install, Pip, and a few other ways to install packages. So let's say we have some code that we've downloaded. So this one we can move to the right folder. So I've got some code I downloaded called Texter. And this is a module for sending SMS messages. So basically what it has inside of it is package info, setup config, setup.py, and texter, which I believe is a folder. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. The main thing you care about here is that it has a setup.py file. So to install from the source, all you have to do is type python, setup.py, and then the word install. And most of the time when you hit enter, it'll go ahead and run and install it. In this case I got a permission denied error because I have to sudo it. So let's try this again. Alright, so this time it ran, it built it actually, and it copied all the files into the right location. In this case, it sent it to 2.7, so if I ran with Python 3 and did it, it would install it to Python 3. But regardless, this is how you install using setup.py. Now on Windows, if you don't have Python in your path, you'll have to specify the full path to your Python executable. And you just do like C python 34 35 / python.exe setup.py install, and that would install too. Now some modules like LXML and a few others that I can think of, they require a compiler to be installed. So when you run this, you have to be sure that you have a compiler installed. So like on macOS and Linux, you usually do, and it'll compile it automatically. But on Windows, you might not have the right compiler, and you'll probably get an error, and the module will not install correctly. In those cases, you need to hope that the person who created the package actually distributes an executable installer that you can use instead. Next up, we'll take a look at Easy Install. Now, Easy Install was the first installing utility that was created that made things easier to install packages for Python. It required setup tools to be able to use Easy Install. And back in the day, you would use Easy Install to install egg files, for example, or even to create egg files. That's not as popular today as it used to be. Now people have moved on to wheel files. But anyway, so if you want to do like Easy Install, you just type Easy Install. And in this case, we'll type -h, see what we have here. This gives us all the helpful options that you can use Easy Install with. You can tell to run verbosely, quietly, do a dry run, which doesn't actually install anything, etc., etc. So let's say I want to do Easy Install and actually install a package. Well, in this case, you just do Easy Install, and let's install SQL Alchemy, for example. So we do that. And it says it can't create or remove files in the install directory. So again, depending on your security settings, you might have to sudo it. So in this case, I'll do sudo, and it'll try finding the latest version of SQL Alchemy, download it, and try to install it. A lot of people don't like Easy Install, and they have switched to Pip. But for the most part, I don't believe Pip supports egg files. So if you happen to find a package that is only distributed as an egg, you'll still have to use Easy Install. Something else I want to note is that Pip is included with Python 3 now. I believe it started in Python 3.4, so if you have 3.4 and above, you'll have Pip included. So anyway, this installed SQL Alchemy, and if a new version of SQL Alchemy were to come along, you could just do -U to upgrade your SQL Alchemy. I believe if you run this, you'll go ahead and search and discover that, hey, I already have the latest version, and it won't install anything. So that's how that all works. Now let's go ahead and try out pip. If you don't have pip installed, because you're using an older version of Python, then you have to go to the pip website and download the getpip.py file. Then you can just run python getpip.py and it'll install pip for you. So anyway, if you want to install using pip, you just type pip, the word install, and then the package you want to install. So let's try running pip install LXML, which is one of my favorite XML libraries. Well, XML parsing libraries. So you can see pip downloads it completely and then starts installing it. Well, it tries to anyway, but once again I need to sudo it. I'm just kind of showing you that you have to do sudo in Linux because a lot of times you might forget, and just something to keep in mind, especially on Linux and Mac. It looks like in this case I've got some kind of error. It can't build it or something, but this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. If you don't have a compiler set up, then you'll run into issues like this where it can't compile it, or you have some other weird issue. And I've had this happen to me on Windows all the time. So I'm not going to show you how to resolve this, but I did want to show you that you can have errors when you try to install stuff, and you'll probably have to go digging in Google to figure out what the heck's going on. Now I do want to have one more note on dependencies. Some modules require other modules just to make that module work. So like if you were to install Django, which is a web framework for Python, it might have some other packages that are required for Django to work properly. So if the person who's distributing Django does it correctly, you can actually tell setup.py that you have dependencies for your package. And then when easy install or pip installs it, it'll look at setup.py and say, hey, there's dependencies here, and they're not currently available in your installation, and they'll install them for you if it's all set up correctly. This is really useful because then you don't have to go looking for the dependencies yourself, because you don't know what dependencies you need anyway until you run the program and find out it doesn't work. So that's one great reason to use pip or easy installs. It just makes things easier when it comes to using packages you're not very familiar with. Alright, at this point I believe you know how to install using pip and easy install and even by source. So you should be able to get along just fine getting your stuff set up. Have fun and happy coding. See you next time.